Taylor, there's pretty gnarly conditions out there with the wind and the chop. Look pretty tough on your team as well. What was the hardest part for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely top end, and probably the sea state more than anything made it challenging. You know, it's wind against tide, and we had 3-4 foot waves at times. So it may not look it in the broadcaster from shore, but it was pretty full on in that sense. First bareway of the day, unfortunately, had a pretty big stuff and blew out a bunch of fairings and missed out on a lot of training time. And but yeah, it's a different game when it's like that, and we need to go back and figure out how to mold the boat a little bit better. We were struggling to kind of get the boat over itself and get it ripping at times. So back to the drawing board in the big breeze conditions for sure.
Looks like the fleet is still super condensed. It looked like you had to try sail your boat really well, do good tactics, and then avoid everyone else. There was a lot to do out there.
Yeah, and I think one moment today for sure that with the Brits and just like a late call on the traffic, and ended up having to stop the boat, go head to wind, and avoid them. And we got to be heads out and looking for just those intersections around the track, because it's tight and everyone's going fast, so that things are changing quickly. And it's a bit of a shame, but we still know we have more in the tank, and we got to keep pushing.
Giles, I guess just talk us through sort of what happened, and is Billy okay?
Yeah, Billy is okay. He's in hospital now. He's having X-rays on his shoulder and his rib. He really copped a big one in the roundup. Our first roundup of the day, actually. We only sailed for about 3 minutes. He was on the leeward side. We turned up, had a high fly and a big stuff, and big wall of water just knocked him over. And hopefully he's not done too much long-term damage. But I think as frustrating as it is, the most important thing is that he's kind of okay. He's being checked out. As I said, he's in hospital. After the incident, he was conscious and talking, but he got whipped away pretty swiftly.
And obviously gutting for the team, but it just goes to show that a flight controller is pretty hard to replace. It wasn't like you could just put somebody else in that position in those conditions. Yeah, I mean,
once Billy was off the yacht and he was being well looked after, we were in a real tricky position where umming and ahhing about what to do. We've got Cooper, who's had probably only half an hour on flight control in Dubai, and Dubai was pan flat, real nice, easy conditions, and to throw a new flight controller with very little experience into conditions like we're out there, it's just not safe. We kind of felt we had to make the call to not race. We sat around all day on the off chance that maybe one team wouldn't start, and then we were going to nurse it around to the leeward marks and pick up a point in H2. But I think what can I say? It's just frustrating for all us Canadians today, I'm afraid.
Our flight controller a little bit injured halfway through, and he toughened it up really seriously to finish all 3 races, so we're pretty glad he could make it.
Oh, that sounds rough. In Portuguese, can you tell me how tough the racing was and how you were just trying to keep the boat under control?
Hoje aqui em Auckland a gente teve um dia com vento bastante forte, a raia apertada, então foi um dia bastante de pensar assim em velejar, claro, da melhor maneira possível, mas em segurança. Então a gente falou bastante sobre isso antes, e no treino a gente teve muita dificuldade de manter o barco sob controle, e a gente parou, a gente conversou bastante, e acho que foi bom porque a gente melhorou bastante para a regata, e acho que fez bastante diferença a gente conseguir, melhorar um pouquinho o nosso resultado em relação à etapa anterior.
And in English, can you tell me, I guess every day you go sailing you learn so much, but do you think after a day like today a lighter day will feel easy?
Yeah, I think things more under control, and time, because I think today was a day that you have to fully trust your crew for what the information they're getting you, and just do what they're telling you. Because you can't see the boat's leeward when it's that fast. You just need to trust your teammates and making sure that communication is firing off the good timing. And I think today we finally got it a little bit too late, but it was much better.
Eric, it was pretty wild out there. Everyone was making mistakes all over the place, but it looked like you just had to sort of minimize how bad the mistakes were.
Yeah, I felt a little bit like the old 49er days when you see 25 knots out there and you go out and oh, if I manage, I'm actually top 5, and that was today the case. And I think everyone was in trouble many times in a race, and without technical issues or people injuries, you were in the mid-fleet, I guess.
And in English, can you tell me, obviously everyone's trying to learn the new T-foils, but in conditions like that, it looked like the roundups were just wild for everyone.
Absolutely wild. We had actually one scary moment of the day, and that was rounding up and not getting grip back, and we were side skidding nearly all the way to the rocks. Yeah, that was a close one, and for sure a challenge we have to master.
Seb, it was a pretty tough day of racing. Obviously the chop just looks really punishing out there.
Yeah, win against tide, so very choppy, especially on the right hand side of the race course in front of the grandstand there. But good day, for us to get those hours in those conditions, it was really valuable. We learned a lot, and we saw again good progress throughout the day. Our best race was the last race, and the team is really progressing, and we were happy about the day.
Obviously, you've been here a while, but it's still a pretty relatively new team for this season. So
yes, I mean, yes and no. We got some experience on the handles. I've been here for a while now, but it's true we have some new people like in the flight control on the wing and in P6, and to be honest, they're doing an awesome job. They're learning really quick. I'm really impressed. So for us, it's really about getting it all together and trying to learn quicker as we can.
And what do you think the hardest part is with the T-foils just sort of throwing everyone off, because everyone looks pretty loose out there?
Yeah, it's strange. First I thought the T-foils would be maybe easier, and I still feel like they gave us more control, but for some reason everybody seems to be quite loose on the race course. So I think ultimately they'll be better, but we're still learning. So it's good fun as well to go through the process.
Ruji, it was a pretty tough day of sailing, but your team managed it well with all the crew changes. Are you pleased with your performance?
Absolutely, yes. We had 3 very good starts, and we can be more proud than that. Of course, then managing the race was quite hard around the racetrack. But I think all the team did a very good job. Unfortunately, we couldn't have on board our flight controller. Andrea was still off for today. We had Jason, and he did a fantastic job. So super happy about the day.
And in English, can you tell me, I guess as a new driver and a new team, it's about not necessarily doing everything right, but just trying to do some things really good? And what's the process?
Absolutely, yes. It's about minimizing the mistakes. We as a team, we are doing a lot of mistakes. But yes, every team is doing quite a lot of mistakes. So it just comes down to try to minimize and to do back at the basics, to be honest, in such a strong wind. So in one way we can be happy and proud of what we achieved since here, but we need to be ready to work even more.
Nikolai, it was a pretty rough day out there, but you guys sailed really well, but it started off a little bit wobbly with an almost capsize.
Yeah, the warm-up was probably the worst one we ever had. Crashed the boat 3 times, broke most things, then we got that fixed, and then we just went to do another lap, and then we almost capsized, and then we agreed that we were ready to race, and probably quit while we were ahead.
In English, I guess today you guys looked pretty in control, like everyone had their moments, but you guys felt really locked in?
We always love the big breeze, or at least we learned to do that now, and for us it's just about pushing hard, and sometimes we went a bit beyond that today, and we had a few crashes, but it also pays off if you're happy to just put the foot down and hope for the best sometimes.
And in English, maybe tell me, I think you were 4th, obviously the points were super tight, but how do you feel your team went this weekend with that result?
Obviously we would have loved to be in the final, but someone claimed that we hit a mark, which we're still denying, but we got 2 points for that. Unless they can show us a proof, I'm going to deny that we hit anything. But maybe next event will be a bit better. I think we just had a bad day yesterday, and it was mainly me not sailing well yesterday, and So I'm pretty confident we're sailing the boat well as a group, and I just need to bring my A game from day one and not just on day two, and then we should be all right in Sydney.
Pete, you obviously pushed it right to the end there, trying to sneak into that final, but it just wasn't enough in Auckland.
Turn up and
really frustrating day for us. I think, in saying that, the team did an awesome job just continuing to fight through the races and continue to put our best foot forward. We kind of went out and went to cut the chase with the sailing window when the training window started before, and had a sensor issue in the wing, so it kind of meant that our training block before the racing was cut in half, and then you're on the back foot from there. And then we had another fault at about a minute to go to the first start, where we couldn't really move the wing like normal and just got stuck on max camber. So some real weird gremlins in the boat for this first couple of races, and I think the way the team fought and continued to get a good result in that race, and then didn't quite get resolved in time to make the start in the second race. So we were a tiny bit late, but the way we managed to I suppose keep in the game and then put together a good last one, give ourselves a shot, but it wasn't quite good enough.
And I mean, the Australians all weekend, they were looking pretty slick around the racetrack. Did you get to see what they were doing at all, or were you just focused?
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously getting off the start well and making some pretty clean races from there. So definitely a little bit of looking into what was going on over the gap between now and Sydney. But I think for us, having Len as the new flight controller, the amount is improving, and the amount we're getting more and more comfortable as a group every event we do. And I think you saw that on the Saturday, getting more comfortable during the day and putting together a good last race. And then again today was kind of, I suppose, the only race our boat was really working at 100%. So we're really pleased with the way we put together a good last one. But a little frustrated by the weekend, but that's sport.
And I guess how hard is it when you do have someone new in the team to kind of get that confidence and be able to do everything right?
Well, there's a lot of little things going on these boats in every scenario, and really getting that muscle memory of knowing exactly what the other person's going to do. So we're under no illusions. We're on a learning curve at the moment. Definitely frustrated we couldn't put together a better result here this weekend, but it's super exciting to see the way the group's improving, and looking forward to trying to knock the Australians off on their home turf in Sydney.
Thanks. Dylan, 2 finals in your 2 first events back. Are you pleased with yourself? You still would have wanted that win?
Yeah, it was obviously disappointing to get into the final again and not be on the top step, but also got to think about the big picture here. And great for the team, and to be fair, hats off the Aussies. They sailed really well. Thought they might have got a penalty in that last one, but it's swings and roundabouts out there.
You obviously went for the penalty. How much are you not afraid to push these boats? It looked like you guys were pretty in control out there.
Yeah, we were pushing it quite hard, and maybe pushed it a little bit too hard at the end. But just overall really happy with the team's performance and long season. So thank you very much, team. They're certainly getting me around well.
And I guess how hard is the racing out there? Obviously you manage your boat handling, but you're also dealing with the sea stay, the chop, the shifts. There's just so much to think about.
Yeah, no, it was a very tight race course, and we had certainly some moments, I'm sure everyone did, where we weren't sure how it was going to go, but we managed to get through unscathed and pushed hard in that final. And
we had Goobs on the comms just always yelling at the grinders to sheet on. How are they feeling right now?
Yeah, they're smoked, but that's what they're there for, eh?
Awesome, we'll leave it at that. Thanks, Dylan.
Thanks.
Diego, it was a real fight out there, every fleet race in the final. How did you see it from your perspective?
Yeah, it was quite hectic for us. We didn't manage to get good starts. We were in the pack, and in these conditions it's quite hard to manage the boats, the technique, and keep it foiling. And we just got into the final, and then I think we did a good job. Also, we didn't do a good start in the final, but we kept it close until the end.
In English, can you tell us, obviously you almost got them at that last gate, what sort of was that situation? Did you think you were going to catch the Australians?
Yeah, it felt good, the phase we were in that last upwind, and we managed to get the inside at the top mark. We didn't execute the tack bearer weight perfectly, but it's true that they were in a strong position, no? So we just didn't get them, but it was close. It was nice.
Tom, you guys are sort of a masterclass all weekend. What does it mean for you to take this win in the second event?
Yeah, it means so much to us. The team started so well. We had a couple of days of practice racing, and we did really well in the practice racing. Same as what happened in Dubai. We were leading, and it kind of felt like deja vu. But then yeah, we're able to convert today. In the first 2 races, having a first, second, and locking in the final position. And then we had a bit of a scare in that 3rd race. We thought that we could have damaged the steering system, but a huge shout out to our shore team who sort of went over the boat and said, look, I think you guys are good to go. And we did a quick test lap and everything felt good. And we had an amazing last race. It felt like we were fighting the British on the first leg, and then the Spanish caught us on the final leg, final upwind leg. And I guess my hat's off to them. They could have chosen to sort of concede and take a second, but they went for it and went for the win, and we managed to just get around them.
Out there, you know, it was about strategy, tactics, obviously sailing the boat well. Everyone was pretty wobbly. Everyone had their moments. It just looked like you had the least amount.
Honestly, we had so many moments out there. We had so many crashes today, and yeah, I mean, we're an experienced team. We've got a pretty tight-knit unit, and we had a lot of issues. It was very hard for us today. So, I mean, again, my hat's off to the new teams and the inexperienced teams in those conditions, because that was as hard a sailing as I've ever done, really, on that sort of racetrack with those puffs and gusts. And I can only sort of take my hat off to those teams who are new, trying to navigate that, because they all did such an amazing job.
And obviously you won in Sydney last year, and this has been an epic event, I imagine, winning in Auckland with that grandstand, even though it's on Kiwi waters.
Yeah, I mean, it's extremely hard to beat the Kiwis in any sport, let alone beat them in their home country. And sailing is one of those sports where they can be so dominant. In the America's Cup, they're dominant. They had a great last season in SailGP, so coming to their hometown and beating them is very, very hard to do. And yeah, honestly, we're just stoked the way we sailed, and we sailed our best this weekend, and our best is good enough to beat anyone, I feel, and I'm glad we got to showcase that.